calling this meeting of the National Board of Education Human Resources Committee to order. We are in the North Boardroom, 533. And I apologize, I'm doing double duty as note taker and runner of the meeting, so things will be slightly off. So Ms. Giglio is not here tonight. Mr. Johnson is here. I'm Ms. Raymond. I'm here. Mr. Ballas is running a few minutes late, and we have Superintendent Dr. Andrade. We also have some guests tonight, and I will let Dr. Andrade introduce them when we get to that point in the program. All right, so let us start with personnel recommendations. Did we have any questions or comments on tonight's personnel recommendations? There's only 6, which is very rare.
No comments.
Okay, then I move that we approve the personnel recommendations and send them to the full board.
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and so next we have 2 administrative recommendations. Dr. Andrade, did you want to invite the first one up? Am I moving too fast?
No, I just pulling up the resume, so it's all good. So I'd like to bring forward Peter Aguiropoulos, who's the recommendation for New Searles assistant principal. So if the new Searles principal can come forward as well, we're going to have you sit up at one of these microphones.
With any microphone, with any chair.
In your packet, you have Peter's resume, and so we'll let you ask a few questions, let him bring his resume to life a little bit, and I'm sure Ms. Kaufman has a couple of words of pleasure as well.
Great. Welcome, Mr. Aguiropoulos and Ms. Kaufman. Yep. So our mics work. You have to press the button. It turns green, and then you're on.
Beautiful.
There you go.
All right. Would you like me to introduce myself?
Welcome. That would be great. Can you give us a little bit of background and, why you were seeking an assistant principal position?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where you've come from?
Yeah, luckily I've come right here from the Nashua School District, so I've been super fortunate over the last several years to have been able to teach at Fairgrounds Middle School here in Nashua, where I've really built a love for the community, gotten to know a lot of the different families and the people that, belong to this group of people here in Nashua, which has been fantastic, a great journey. Throughout this experience teaching, I've really grown over the past several years in terms of the leadership capacity as well at the school, working with teachers, families, and students in order to help improve educational outcomes for students and really build a better culture and climate for the school. So I was really excited when this opportunity arose at New Searles Elementary School to kind of take the jump and pursue this position. I'm really, really excited about where we can go as a school together. I know there's many fantastic things happening at the elementary school already, but I believe I can be another piece to the puzzle to just help continuing to improve and show growth and ultimately improve what we're doing for our students and our families here in the city of Nashua. So I'm really excited about the opportunity, and I'm excited to be here tonight to answer any questions you might have.
All right. Thank you so much. Mr. Johnson, do you have any questions?
No, I just want to say that one of my one of my kids' favorite teachers, so a strong thing. And also, my kids came up through New Searles, and I was on the board. I was on the PTO there for 7 years, and that sort of led me to here. So it's very exciting that you're coming into New Searles. It's a great school, got a lot of great parents and great students and amazing teachers. So I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So I always ask a question or two because I feel like this is an opportunity for the public who's watching to kind of meet new people for the first time. So I have a couple questions. I'm just going to make it one giant multi-part question. So as you know, New Searles has, I think, 7 special education programs, including our deaf and hard of hearing program, which I think we're now the only program in public school in the state, which is amazing. And so my question is about your philosophy on behavior management and discipline and how you can integrate all of that in with the variety of needs and abilities that we see at New Searles.
Yeah, awesome. That's a great question. And I think it's really important when you're looking at it. Ultimately, at the end of the day, there's been laws passed throughout the years and whatnot when it comes to individualized education for students. But at the end of the day, what we do in education is get to know every student and make sure we are reaching the whole child. So whether that be a student who might be identified as someone who has a disability or any student in general, it's really important as a school we're able to work with those students to get to know what drives them, what motivates them, and also where we need to support them more. And that might be at the student level, that might be understanding where we need to support them when it comes to the whole family as well. So for these students, in the specific group you're talking about here, it's really critical that as we're understanding kind of who they are and what their needs are, we're continuously working to improve the structures and the supports that we have in our school to make sure that they're not only growing academically with their peers on their grade level content standards and their behavior expectations and all those sorts of things, but also that we're meeting the needs of their specific goals that they have in their plans as well. So I'm excited. I know there's a lot of great things already happening at New Searles in terms of all the different programs that they have, but we can continue to improve and look and tweak things and make sure that we're just doing better for the students and the families overall.
Thank you. And just to kind of follow up on that, one of the things that New Searles does really well right now is have that community partnership with the families of the students who go there. How do you see yourself engaging with the community so that they get to know you and that we can maintain that feeling of partnership and cooperation that they have with the families in their district?
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. Whenever I talk about education, I always mention how, there's really three major pillars that have to come together. It's the student, it's the family, and it's the school. So when you bring all three of those groups together, that's when you're going to see the most success for your students in this situation. As a leader of the school, I'm excited to come in and get to know and put myself out there and understand who these families are, where they're coming from, and what their needs are, and be able to support them ultimately going forward. When we think about education, New Searles, the Nashua School District, when families are coming to us, it's because we're here to support them. We're here to help meet their needs, and we're here to help push them so that they can grow and ultimately reach whatever destination it is that they see for themselves someday. So I'm excited to get out there, connect with families whenever they have questions. For anybody who might be watching this, I encourage you to reach out to me. Give me a call, shoot me an email, and I'm happy to connect and go over any questions or concerns. A really important part of this for me is making sure I'm getting out there and learning who the school is and who the people in the school are so that I can best support them. So I'm excited about that proposition, and I know it's something I'm really looking forward to.
I have one last question, and this is kind of directed at everyone on that side of the U, and that is when we are promoting from within, which I love, thank you, and someone is switching their role, when does I know it says the 24-25 school year, so when does that transition actually happen? I know Mr. Adgeropoulos will be in his science classroom until the end of the school year. When do you start going to New Searles and getting, onboarded there?
Tomorrow.
No, it can't be tomorrow because we still need science.
No, it's essentially it's the start of the 24-25 school year. So he'll complete this year.
Yep.
But over the summer, I'm already talking to Peter. Again, he's going from middle school to elementary school. He knows there's a wide variety of professional development he'll be taking, but assistant principals are 199 days, or it's 200 days. So essentially the second week of August, he'll make the transfer over. But Ms. Kaufman will have him working all summer.
Well, I'm excited. All right. Any other questions? Go ahead, Mr. Johnson.
This came up just brought up. How does it feel to go from middle school to elementary school?
Feels great. No, I'm really excited about it. So I think ultimately, kids are kids at the end of the day. In education, we're there to help support kids and we're there to help support families. As was just mentioned, there of course will be a learning curve, and I'd be naive to pretend like there wasn't. But I'm really excited for that opportunity. Working with kids at that age can be a lot of fun, and there's just a lot of different ways to help motivate them, get to know them, and work with them in different ways. So it's a fun challenge, and I'm excited for it.
And one last question. Will you do the dunk tank at Spring Fling next year?
I have done dunk tanks before, so absolutely, yeah, that would be great. Hopefully there's good weather. The last one I did, it was pretty cold. You got out and it was freezing. So, but yes, absolutely, I'm down for whatever I can do to help motivate kids and become a part of the community, and I'm really excited about that.
Great, thank you.
I got to sit in on the interviews for this position, and that question did not come up. And I feel like if there is a tradition like that, it should probably be part of the, vetting process.
It's the mascot too, because I've done that a couple times. So I may share that with you.
Beautiful. It sounds great.
I have to say personally, if someone said, would you go in a dunk tank in, March, I'd be like, no, I won't. So excellent. All right. So I'm delighted to make the motion to elect Peter Adgeropoulos. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Okay. To the position of assistant principal for the 2024-2025 school year at an annual salary of $81,688, and that is at New Searles.
Second.
Right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. It is a unanimous vote of 2. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you both. And welcome, Mr. Bowes.
Sorry for the delay.
That's all right. I understand that Pennachuck is having a concert, and so there is significant traffic of parents dropping off. And then for our 6 o'clock meeting, I imagine there will be significant traffic for parking because it starts at 6:30.
Yeah, Broad Street's a parking lot right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think it's loud enough to make it over here, which is unfortunate, but if we finish early. All right, so we have another administrative recommendation, and that is for the new middle school special education coordinator position.
So my pleasure to bring forward Alice Whalen, and also if Director Alexander can join her. That would be great. Alice is another internal candidate moving in. She's currently at Elm Street as the head teacher and really keeping everything together and special ed over at Elm Street. So I'll ask Alice to just give a little brief background on her resume and why she's interested in this position.
So, thank you all. I have been employed in the Nashua School District for 21 years. I started off as an intensive needs special ed teacher, case manager in the Building Bridges program. And over the last 6 years actually now, I have been the head teacher at Elm Street. Prior to that, I was just a para and did some long-term subbing at different school districts. The reason why I want this position is because I feel it's going to help expand in my growth and development as a leader. I have been involved in a lot of different meetings and things like that, and supporting staff and students, and I'd like to take a little bit more of a leadership role.
Great, welcome. And I'm so glad to see that we are promoting from within again, and someone who has this wealth of knowledge about our families, our community. So I have a couple of questions about both your philosophy and background and also how the position will work. Mr. Johnson, did you have questions as well?
You can go first.
Okay, so my question is both to Mr. Alexander and Ms. Whalen about, will this position be located in McCarthy or is it a traveling position?
It's a traveling position. We envision most of Ms. Whalen's time will be at McCarthy, the majority of it, because we are centralizing our programs there, our district-wide programs at McCarthy because of space and the beautifulness of it, and there's a lot of design there. So I think we're talking about around 3 days a week at McCarthy and spending a day at each of the other middle schools and kind of fluctuate as we did with our elementary coordinator positions. It's new, so there is a bit of that kind of flexing and working through schedules and kind of making sure things will work. You know, we don't know if it's going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, what it's going to look like schedule-wise, but we'll work with the building admin on that to kind of make sure those things get ironed out. It gives us the ability to go to Ms. Whalen and meet with her and spend time at McCarthy as well. So, but that is the plan at this time.
Right. I imagine that would be something that would be dynamic and fluid too as you go over time, depending on where needs are and what the needs are as they come up.
I'm hoping to build a bridge between the 3 schools to have collaboration, communication, and cohesiveness.
Can you speak more on that?
So, for instance, I've been working with some of the other middle school head teachers. When I first started, I was the only middle school, and then they added the 2 middle school head teachers, and over the years, I've supported them, helping them develop their skills in this set and giving them some pointers and some information on how things have been successful at Elm Street. So we've already kind of bridged some of those gaps a little bit, but now being able to actually go in and support this new teachers or existing teachers that have already been in the building is going to be, I think, beneficial.
I think so too. I'm really excited about the position. And so I've lost my train of thought. Mr. Johnson, you want to go?
Sure. So as being a mentor to the teachers and stuff, what do you think is the most important aspects they need to understand in working with kids who are special needs?
Well, I think they need to understand that they need to take a step back, take a look at the students, figure out what's working, what's not working, and why what's going on, and then figuring out how to best support their needs.
Thank you.
I remembered where my brain was going before I got off track. So we have just updated our restraint and seclusion policy based on some legal changes. And I don't think that the legal changes changed anything significant about our practice here. Having said that, we made the policy go from like 4 pages to like 15 pages, and we've expanded the communication and cooperation with parents, especially after an incident. Do you see your role as being a bridge with parents, between parents and staff for that? Or do you see another way that your role will interact with this whole process?
Well, I think if an incident occurs, open communication with parents is vital. We need to be able to discuss the concerns that they have, the concerns that we've seen, and better support the staff so that we don't have to be hands-on. Ideally, we always want to be at least restrictive. We don't want to touch anybody or work with anybody or do any of those kind of things. So coming up with other additional strategies and supports that can meet the kids' needs, what we want to try to do. And then, work with those parents.
Okay, great.
One of the other things you both talked about mentoring is Ms. Whalen's been one of our cohort leaders for new teachers in special education for the past 2 years. So she's been the face of a lot of our special ed teachers, both directly as a cohort leader and then as a head teacher. And I think she's really underestimating the work she's done with our middle school head teachers, and the collaboration she's brought to that team has been amazing. Helped kind of move them along, and I think we've a candidate for the position that's going to really thrive and help our middle schools unite together.
Good. I'm really excited about this. I think having another resource for teachers, and as we see our special education population continuing to grow, I think is really important. So I'm excited that you have decided to take a step towards a greater administrative role within the district. And I'm super excited that we are promoting our internal talent when we see great things. So having said that, I am going to move that we elect Alice Whalen to the position of middle school special education coordinator at an annual salary of $91,846,000.
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Once again, we are unanimous. Welcome.
Lastly, can we just wish her a happy anniversary on her 30th wedding anniversary tonight?
Oh,
so
congratulations.
she's here with us. So.
Thank you very much. Congratulations.
I feel like a Penachuk band concert might be just the ideal celebration. Okay. So hang on. I don't have anything on paper today. I have to scroll back and forth, which is always a problem for me. Okay, so next on the agenda is some job descriptions. And so as I am scrolling down, I did have some questions for Dr. Andrade and Mr. Baus about the job description, because I wasn't able to see if you had made changes to the job description since they were last updated. I see a couple of them are new, and whether or not you had a desire for us to do wordsmithing, or if you are happy with what you've presented in the packet. So maybe we could go one by one.
Yeah, so we can go one by one. The Director of Communications has been expanded, so there's a lot.
Yeah, we don't have the old one right in front of us, and it's from 2020, and I don't remember.
Yeah. So this actually job description is taken from the National NSPA, which is like the school. I don't want to call it press, but
Right, yep.
But it's from the really the National Communications Officers, like their association. So this is one of their model job descriptions. Ours was a one-pager. It just talked about being an advisor, communication. This is much more detailed, and we also think it's much more up to date on incorporating social media, outreach, being proactive, serving as a strategy advisor to both the board and the superintendent. Again, just kind of bringing it up to speed. I think, again, Stacy Hines did an incredible job, but we want to capture what she was doing just in the new job description and setting those expectations up front. So we could do a little wordsmithing. I think it's captured in here, but it's really just expanded a lot further from the original
Where it
posting.
was. Yeah, I was really happy to see, there were a couple things I was looking for, and one was social media, because I think that last time we updated this in 2020, we were just putting our toe into the water of social media and just starting we started Twitter, I think, in 2018, and now that's not really the communication du jour. There's other things, so I was glad to see social media specifically referenced.
And the other aspect of it is, again, like, I would love to put it out as like chief storyteller. Like, how, again, are we telling our story? I don't want to call it branded, but how are we, showcasing all the wonderful things that are going on in the Nashua school community on a daily basis. So I envision that next person being able to tell our story and promote that as.
Yep. So the other thing I was looking for, and I see that's in there, is about being on committees and task forces as assigned by the superintendent. Does that include? Because I know we've done that before for, like when we've had task forces on redistricting or strategic planning. But does it also count as being the designee on? Like the cable TV advisory board and other advisory boards within the community?
Yeah. So I see a lot, like, I'm part of a lot of community boards, so I can see this person, again, stepping in and being that liaison. And so currently Stacy runs the ETV kind of
Right.
board.
I know that was a big part of-
So
yeah.
I envision this person leading that, but also serving on other roles as well.
Okay, great. Mr. Johnson, did you have any questions about the Director of Communications job description?
I just one thing I'd ask, if we're, along with this new, along with looking for new person for this, would we also be looking to expand social media into other platforms at all?
So we didn't want to just say it was X or what, like, things are changing so fast. We just want to be everywhere as well.
Okay. So I move that we approve the Director of Communications job description as it's presented this evening.
A second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Gosh, Rob and I are on a roll. All right. So the next one is the Chief Operating Officer, and this is Mr. Donovan's position, correct?
Yep.
Can you alert us to any changes to the description? Because I don't know when the last time was we updated this, and I suspect it's been a couple decades.
Yeah, so actually, the job description I pulled from was from 2007.
All right.
So a lot of the things that I changed are in the responsibilities, and it's not me that changed it. I reviewed them with Mr. Donovan, and just to reiterate and paint a picture of what he actually does day to day.
All right, great.
So all the things that were changed were on the responsibilities. The only thing that changed on the qualifications was the business administrators being certifiable within 2 years. It used to say 1 year.
Okay.
So we changed that to 2 years. And then we just added that minimum 5 years experience of those, the budgetary process. So line 3 as well. Everything else in there was already in there. Some of the things that he wanted to highlight was, and I'm not sure why it wasn't in there, but negotiating with the cost items. So number 4 on responsibilities for contracts. He does that on a day-to-day basis, or not day-to-day, but when the contracts do come in, he handles all the cost items.
Yeah, he's a critical component of how we understand these things.
Yep. The other one was line item 12, monitoring staffing needs relative to the budget restrictions. So kind of helping with position control is ultimately what that comes down to. And then the other big change, and not really change, just again, painting the picture of what he actually does on a day-to-day basis, was adding the line 16, the biweekly board meetings and the monthly board meetings that they need to attend.
Great.
All the rest were just kind of rewording some of the lines a little bit to, again, show what he does.
Right. I do think we need to, well, I don't know if we need to. I wonder if we wanted to say biweekly, because I don't know that we actually meet biweekly. We meet twice a month most of the time, but sometimes not. So I don't know if we want to say board, just cross out the period of time when we meet, or if we want to leave it as that so that someone has the expectation that it might be as much as every other week. I don't know. So
Yeah, I would think leave it as, bi-weekly, because sometimes if there's a special meeting or something, so it probably all works out.
okay. And then I appreciated number 13, the principal resource person to the joint special, because I think that having our financial guru coming to those meetings and being on top of it will be a benefit to everyone involved.
We're not quite sure if they have to attend all the meetings, but they're
At least watch it,
Yeah.
pay attention, and update the board so that we have a better understanding.
correct. Yeah, so.
Okay. So with that, I'm ready to approve this one. I move that we approve the Chief Operating Officer job description.
Just one note.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Just because I'm an Adobe person, being a designer, you have the strong system knowledge of Excel, Adobe, and Outlook. Should that be Adobe Acrobat? Is that specifically for Acrobat, or do you expect them to know more of the Adobe programs?
Number is that?
It's the very end of it. It's the qualifications. It's just strong system knowledge of Excel, Adobe, Outlook.
Wait, I think
Page-
that's a different one.
I was going to say, you
Oh,
might
am
have
I
a
on the
different.
wrong page? Am I on the wrong section?
Yeah, you're still on.
I'm still. Never mind.
on the previous.
I
one.
was
like, I don't
why
see
is
it.
there no Adobe? Now yeah, sure they do. Okay, no, I second.
Okay. All right. So as we scroll, so all in favor of approving Chief Operating Officer job description, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So now we are on accountant position. And so, no, did I go right by it? Is it?
Should be the district accountant.
Next one.
It is, but in my packet, oh, there
Yeah,
it
that's
is.
what-
It says
yeah.
reports to Chief Operating Officer, and I didn't scroll far enough to see the title. I apologize. Okay, so is this a new position?
So this is a new position that we, depending on if we have to restructure the business office, just based on our past experience and how to recruit. In speaking with Mr. Donovan and Mr. Gray on if there's any kind of restructuring in there, if we had to recruit for an assistant business manager or an assistant business official, we feel it might be better to recruit a district accountant. It's much more specific in the role, what they actually do on a day-to-day basis, and we just might be able to attract a different qualified candidate. If we recall a year ago, it took us 10 months to fill that position, and I think it was just we weren't advertising the correct way. That being said, we may or may not need this position, depends on what happens with the advertising of the COO.
So this position is to theoretically replace or supplement the assistant business manager?
It would be a switch.
Will be a switch. Okay. And so by approving the job description, we are not approving, let's just go out and add another person to the
Correct.
business office. It's if we need to, for recruiting purposes, or just to make the district run more smoothly. Although I think the office is doing great right now, so I don't want to.
Well,
I don't want to cast aspersions.
No, it's doing a fantastic job, but again, I think when we look at the infrastructure, we're not looking to add a position currently,
Right.
but I think even in the long run, we would be recruiting an accountant.
Okay. And I just made eye contact with Mr. Donovan because he's here, not in the circle, but I assume Mr. Donovan was instrumental in helping to craft this.
Very much so.
Okay. In which case, I am comfortable with it. Any questions?
In the Adobe question, I think.
Yeah,
this came-
now it gets to the Adobe, which is do you want someone in fluent in Adobe or system knowledge of Adobe Acrobat, not Adobe in general.
Yeah,
because-
so this came from the business office, so I'm
Right.
comfortable with their language and their systems.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think keeping it as Adobe is just generic as opposed to specifying a
That's the
specific.
sign, right. Yeah, because I see Adobe and I'm thinking of photoshopping models, and
Right, right.
who would need to do that? And
One would hope that someone applying for an accountant job wouldn't
Right,
be like,
would
I'm
need
an
to know
excellent
Adobe."
Photoshopper.
No Photoshop in the budget. So,
Okay, so I move that we approve the accountant job description.
second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and the last one is also a new position, and this is a civil rights compliance coordinator. And so is this what we were discussing during the budget season of a Title IX coordinator, just with
Correct.
a different
Yep.
title?
correct. So we've been working with the city and the other legal advisors on just the need for a person in this position. It's ironically, a couple of years ago when I first came to this district, the former director of HR at that time said, we really need to tackle Title IX training and compliance. And so here we are a year and a half later. And so we've been working with, again, city risk management and legal advisors on coming up with these overall responsibilities are. So it'll be a huge addition to our HR office in supporting our building principals and, more importantly, our students and adults who might feel there's a safety factor. So I think, again, this is a good position to add to the district, especially a district of this size.
Yeah, we were talking about this back when I came on the board back in 2018. And for a lot of reasons, it hasn't happened yet. My question is this going to be a non-affiliated position and so a negotiated salary? Okay. Do you have any questions, Mr. Johnson?
No questions. I just, read over it. It looks pretty much, it covers a lot of things. I mean, the Title IX is going to, be interesting with differences of federal and state laws. So I wish them luck with that, but it definitely seems to cover everything.
And there's new guidance coming out in Title IX.
Right. I know that there's been a bunch of trainings and some major changes, which I think is good.
And it could continue to change based off of the presidential election.
Right. So, and other legal things happening in the state. So, my only other question is regarding the degree that you're looking for. I know when we had originally talked about creating this, we were wondering if we needed someone with a strong legal background, but do you think a strong HR background would be sufficient? I just want to make sure whoever we hire has the expertise to really wade into these things and guide us in the right direction.
So, I mean, the qualifications they're asking for are strong HR, but this day and age, I would look for someone with a strong legal background, and hopefully we can, again, recruit someone to come in and working for a public school in their salary.
Right. Yeah. That was our hiccup when we first proposed this, was that we can't afford to pay legal salaries. So.
Yep, that's the big, for line 2, minimum 3 years experience in compliance, human resources, legal affairs. We're really looking for somebody that has that background in those investigations, not just Title IX, Title VII as well, because like Mario was saying, just the sheer size of our district, we really need somebody just to handle that.
Right. And I'm hopeful that this will save the district in the long run legal fees, because hiring attorneys to investigate these types of matters is extremely expensive. So doing it in-house might be helpful. All right, so I move that we approve the Civil Rights Coordinator job description.
Second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So that will go to the full board. I'm just scrolling back up. That's all I have. Anything else, Mr. Johnson?
No, nothing else.
All right, great. So I am going to move that we adjourn.
Second.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, so we are adjourned at 6:08 PM, and I thank everyone for their patience.